Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Entrepreneurship in Focus. I am your host, Marlon Joseph, and I look forward to interacting with you guys this evening. This evening, we've got a special guest in studio, and we look forward to hearing from him and his journey in the entrepreneurial arena. Allow me to inform you guys that July 14th to 16th, we're having Guyana's SME Investment Conference, and it is something that you need to look forward to, as well as I am hosting a fundraiser event for Easter Sunday called Salsa on the Seawall. So it's lunch and salsa on the seawall. So you can expect a grand event where you can come and interact with other entrepreneurs and celebrate. As well, if you're interested in sponsoring our program, Entrepreneurship in Focus, then feel free to reach out to this page to which you are viewing the information, or reach out to me in 652-1959, and I can apprise you with all of the information. This evening, I am super excited to interact with our guest. I encourage each and every one of you to make the most out of every opportunity, ask questions so that you can participate equally, and remember to share our live stream. You don't want to benefit from the information all by yourself. So if you know a person who can grow and who can benefit from information that they learn on our page, feel free to invite them to join us this and every Tuesday night from 8:30 to 9:30. Allow me to introduce our guest. He is no other than Mr. Richard Collymore, the founder and CEO of Orange Light Business Support Organization. Welcome, Richard.
Thank you, Marlon. Good evening to you and your viewers. It is actually a pleasure to be able to join you this evening on your program.
Lovely. And we've got some special people that are joining and who continue to make our program a success. We've got persons like Emily, we've got Anassa, we've got Sancha, Margaret joining us all the way from Barbados, we've got Shariza from Canada, and several other persons joining us. It is indeed a pleasure to have you guys join our program. So, Richard, I hear the name Orange Light. What inspired you to come up with that name?
If I'm to be honest, Marlon, that's a story I don't really share very often with people. Mm-hmm. But Orange Light is a reminder to me, so it's more of a personal story. It's a reminder to me of a place I was in life and a place I really don't want to return to. Mm-hmm. So for me, when I came to the name, it was at a point in my life where things weren't all bright and shiny, as some may say. Mm. And my car was always on orange light. For those drivers who, always do that $1,000 top up to get to the next destination, you'll understand what I'm speaking about. Mm-hmm. So we formed what we call the Orange Light Club because it was me and a few others who always had this car on orange light. And when I decided to start the business, I decided, I need something to remind me what I'm working for, what's my why, and how to continue to grow. So Orange Light was it. This is a place I never want to be again. And it's a place that I can, whenever I see that word Orange Light, I can grow from. So Orange Light is for me, and BSO is for my clients.
Interesting.
So BSO is what we do. We provide business support. So that's for my clients.
But I mean, you could have chosen to go into anything, for instance, get a job for somebody, work with an organization and help that organization grow. But you chose to go into entrepreneurship. What inspired you to go into that venture?
I've always been entrepreneurial. So while I was going to school, I did things like selling fruits. We had a lot of fruits tree. So I would always sell fruits. Banks would always buy bottles. So we would go pick up bottles in the evening and sell them the following day.
Interesting.
I also grew up in a business. So there was this hotel, a very popular hotel in Berbice, and I was raised in that hotel. So by the time I was standard 4, I think that is like grade 6 now, I was already involved in training of employees because my portfolio in the hotel was all new hires report to me.
Okay.
So I had to train new hires. I had to open shift, close shift for the hotel and the lounge. Restaurant staff also reported to me. And this is what we call learning by doing, but it was unconscious learning because I wasn't in a space where I was preparing myself to go into business. I wanted to become an accountant or a lawyer. But as I grow forward in life, what I found is that I got tired of clocking in on the 9 to 5 and saying, yes, sir, no, sir, can I take a bathroom break, sir? And decided, well, I have all of these skills I would have accumulated over the last number of years, and persons can benefit from it. So why not package it and help those persons who can benefit?
Lovely. So I love the fact that you were able to start from very small. All of your experiences, negative and positive, they help to shape your journey. And I also tell people, embrace the challenges, embrace the successes, embrace your family of origin, because they all help to shape your story, and to shape your journey in life. And I would normally ask persons, of course, which I'm going to ask you, if you had to go back and do it all over again, would you do it, or would you choose to be somebody else and get a different set of experiences?
Funny story is that I wouldn't trade any part of my history for anyone or anything. So I'll definitely do this all over again, the exact steps. And some people would say, why would you want to do that? But to be frank, our past experiences, those are the things that shape us into the being that we are today. So if I go and interfere with the past and break a few things here and a few things there, then I may come out a different individual. I might not even have the chance to meet you or to be on this program.
Interesting.
So whatever we go through in our life, it is always preparing us for that next step. And I use that as I project. So to ask me to go back and change anything, I wouldn't, because I'm happy at the place I am today, and I know exactly where I am heading and the network that I'm creating.
Lovely. And if I may to agree with Susie on our Facebook page, she said anybody can make it in Guyana. If you have a lazy mind and body, you can't get nothing. And I definitely agree with you, Susie. So kudos to you. So what was your experience like starting and being in the business industry from all of those years? I'm not getting into your age compared to right now.
Nothing much has changed.
Interesting.
I think it was Jim Rohn who said it once. I know the key to the future. And if you ask me what tomorrow will be, it will be just like today. You're going to wake up, you're going to take your breakfast, and you're going to go do your chores and return. For the employees, you go on with your regular mandate. And for business owners, you just wake up with a new idea to create something. So when I was involved, back then it was in the entertainment industry. So we do hospitality industry. And we cater to guests. What was paramount in that industry is the way you treat your customers. Customer service was key. And once you have a customer service superior to that of your competitors, then you will gradually get more business. Doing business now is pretty much the same. People pay for quality, they pay for service. So I don't want to come to your place and act as though I'm begging for a service. If I'm paying for a service, I expect to receive a service. And I tell anybody, if the president walk into my door tomorrow, a businessman walk into my door, the young child from Stella Mars or Mays in North Georgia walk into my door, they will receive the same level of service and the same level of all that we have to offer. We're not making anything special because of your position or your social class. What we do, we provide a high level of service, and we want to maintain that to everybody that access our services, our programs, because once you start diminishing or separating, you're creating barriers for access. And if I'm to have the ability to serve the president at the highest level, then I want to serve all of my clients at that level as well.
Interesting. So what would you say to persons who are sitting and waiting for the perfect environment to be created before they go into entrepreneurship or before they make the next move? They're just sitting and waiting, given what you said about things being constant.
You can sit today and wait. And in 5 years, you will still be waiting.
Indeed.
So that person who's thinking about, oh, I want to get a degree, but I don't want to go to the university, 6 years later, you'll be having that same conversation.
Interesting.
If you have a thought, you have an idea that you want to develop into a business, it's always important to make the first step. Once you make that jump, that leap, things will start to fall into play. It's not going to be automatic. It's not going to happen overnight. I can tell you, I had an entire year where all of my income came from designing business cards only, my entire income. And we had a little bit here and there in between. So you start, you make the leap, and you be consistent. If you got one broken down computer and that's all you got, but you have your skills, you have your ability, then let that broken down computer prepare the best PowerPoint presentation you can prepare.
Indeed.
And then you pitch with your unique proposition, what makes you special from anybody else, and you let that become your selling point as you grow. People are always looking, negative or positive, they will be speaking. You just need to be focused on your goals.
What's your takes? I was interacting with a business owner last week, and he said persons in Guyana makes it easy for businesses to get away. I think they expect nothing. They expect poor service. That when you try to improve and you try to teach them quality in systems so that they can interact with, it is difficult for you to reach out to them effectively. What's your take on that?
There's two things, Marlon. One, you get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
Two, if you expect poor service, then guess what you will get?
Mm-hmm.
We need to be able to help our brothers and our sisters to do better.
Mm-hmm.
And if we want to have better service, in your business, you start by giving better service.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go by someone else and they give you the service that you're paying for, then show them that amount of appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
We have a culture where we would go to the market and somebody trying their utmost to provide you with whatever you're going to purchase, and you're begging them for, oh, I need a better price on this. And then you go to Marriott, oh, this was wonderful. And you tip somebody extra because it's not about the service that you had, because you had excellent service in the market, but it was the place.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to Marriott, and because of that brand, the Marriott brand, then you're willing to pay more or appreciate the service a bit better. So we should appreciate it from the small corner shops and the other people that are making an effort, and let them be motivated to go forward and continue to give us that high quality service that we so much yearn for.
I like that. So if you're looking and you that person that I'm talking about, you can maintain your brand because they share things. For instance, they're persons come in and they greeting the customers. Thank you for visiting. How may we assist you in these things? The customers like, me, why you out? I just come for this thing, or you're taking too long on the phone or something like that. So it's a matter of you being able to know when a customer is in a hurry, and now you can smoothly assist them and maintain your professionalism and your standard and being effective, being able to flex. I mean, if somebody come and they're in a hurry, oh, thank you for coming. We want to be able to meet you, and you're going through all these slow systems and so on, and the people getting frustrated. So it's a case like that. So help us understand some of these services provided by Orange Light.
So at Orange Light, we are a complete business support organization. And we say complete because what we do at Orange Light, there are very few others would attempt to do it. We support your business from the stage of idea, where you're thinking about what you want to do, all the way to sustainable growth. In sense that we provide coaching, mentorship for persons who are interested in becoming entrepreneurs or business owners. We assist you with clarifying your goals and working towards achieving those. There is a team in place to assist with marketing and public relations, where we can help you with designing your materials, your logos, all of your marketing needs, manage your Facebook, your social media pages. We also do things like employees training and staff development sessions. We assisted, well, our client base is kind of spread, where we serve persons from small businesses all the way to international organization. So it is dependent on where you fall. Management systems development, writing of business proposals. We become that one-stop shop for logistics. Even if you want to do things like B2B networking, You just hire us and we take care of all the stress for you. So we do the hard work so that you can relax and have fun and grow the business.
Okay. So help us understand some of the team besides the people that you mentioned in marketing. Who are some of the other people that are associated with you that providing training and development and consultancy?
So in terms of our training and development team, we have people such as Dale Brown, we got Lisa Agard, we got Dr. McCalman. We have some international consultants as well, such as a guy by the name of Demis John out of Suriname. There is Augustine in Trinidad. So we don't just have local team, but we have a spread of our Caribbean region. And we're currently working on getting into the US and some parts of UAE. So we are in discussions right now. I don't want to call people names, but we're in discussions right now and we're working on solidifying those arrangements as well.
Okay. And if you were to give us an idea of some of the large projects that you guys would have managed.
So in terms of training, we did training in all 10 administrative regions consistently for the past 2 years. So while a lot of persons were saying, oh, COVID was miserable, during COVID time, I was in every single region providing trainings for the Guyana National Youth Council, PAHO, Ministry of Health.
So in other words, these organizations were breaching the COVID-19 guidelines.
No, a lot of it was helping to work on increasing awareness on COVID-19 and preventing the spread of COVID-19. So it was COVID-19 related. So for the most part. We also did work for the Ministry of Human Services, a lot of printing designs. We had the fortune of designing the minister's card directly and printing that. And we are currently looking at being able to tap into our new industry. So everybody's considering the black gold that Guyana has. And we're looking at how we can have our opportunity at being able to provide service to the businesses in that space as well.
So what's the procedure for persons to reach out to Orange Light and be able to access perhaps training?
You can contact us directly via our Facebook page. We have our website as well. So you just type Orange Light BSO in on Google search and you have a number of options. You have the Facebook, you have the website. Email address, orangelightbso@gmail.com. And if any one of these things frustrate you and you don't think you're getting it enough, you can hit me up on WhatsApp, 687-3109.
And I'm seeing Dale Brown joining us on our Facebook page.
Yes.
Giving us a shout out, exemplary leadership. So what advice would you give to SMEs? How can they tap into the oil and gas sector, as that is the current thing right now and everybody's jumping on board?
While everyone is trying to get into the sector of providing services to the oil and gas field, it is also important for us as small and growing business to be able to ensure that we have in-house checks and balances. So attend those free seminars at the Center for Local Business Development. Find out how to get registered with the Secretariat.
Local content.
Get your business registered with the Local Content Secretariat. Ensure that your compliances are in order. And for persons who fit the criteria of small business, register with small business. Now, we may see these things as annoyances, but those networks also help you to get your feet in to the oil and gas sector. And you don't have to fight, because a lot of people fighting to become direct supporters or sell service directly to the oil and gas company. There's so many options trickling down that you can look at. In terms of, Marlon, your company may be a direct supplier for the oil and gas, but you can now get me to sell some services to you, which will benefit the oil and gas. So reach out to those persons who are direct suppliers as well within your network, or ask a friend who knows of who are some direct suppliers that they can link you with. And you focus on selling your services to those persons. So you can become a sub to ensuring this person got a better quality product to sell to the oil and gas sector.
You see, before the oil and gas sector, many of us feared partnerships because of the fear that somebody comes and they want to control a directly show, or they come and go with my ideas, or they come and invade my space. What is your take on approaching partnerships?
By now, we should understand the importance of partnership in country. I mean, we've been producing oil for a number of years now. Mm-hmm. And if we looked in the oil space, the first thing we would realize the largest company that is producing oil had to partner in order to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. So Exxon of itself is a joint venture project with Exxon, Hess, and CNOOC. Mm-hmm. So they're saying, hey, we don't have all of the resources that we can jump this one alone. Or maybe we have the resources, but we don't want to take the risk. Mm-hmm. So partnership does two things. It buffers where you may have the resources, but you don't want to take the risk alone. Mm-hmm. And if more of our small businesses stop thinking that they have all the answers and they want to do everything by themselves and consider the option, look, I probably know Marlon, I probably know two other guys on the street. They're good folks. We can come together and do something. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to tie your businesses. You create a new business for the partnership. Mm-hmm. And you create that business specifically for the venture. So you're not risking your personal stuff. And you just put whatever percentage you want to put in this business venture. Mm-hmm. And as a team together, then you go after the things that you want to go after. For example, you want to do, let's say, a garbage disposal. 4 or 5 persons come together and invest a percentage. And you do an agreement for this disposal company. Mm-hmm. So whatever profit come, you have your profit sharing agreement as well. It doesn't affect your regular business because you create a separate business. Mm-hmm. So in that way, more small businesses can look at how they can pool resources, create joint ventures, and then go after larger projects.
I love that. In order to succeed, you must collaborate and partner, particularly as many of small business owners, they operate by themselves. Mm-hmm. So in order for you to be able to reach out and manage larger projects and be able to be sustainable, it is encouraged that you partner, you get into a like-minded business or a business that is able to enhance the quality of services you provide, for instance, delivery service and being able to work within the catering industry. We all come together and form a taxi service, and the different things that we, small businesses, our local SMEs, can be able to do to benefit from the oil and gas sector. So my next question to you is, what is your take on the local content legislation that was passed?
Well, that's a very interesting place where we have a lot of hot debates. The local content, in my view, makes room mm-hmm. for Guyanese businesses to be able to benefit mm-hmm. from the resources that are coming out of Guyana. Mm-hmm. And once we look at it from that perspective, we can partner with whomever we want. We can bring John Doe from Spain. Mm-hmm. But it ensures that Guyanese businesses, Guyanese people mm-hmm. gets a decent share for their involvement and not being able to sell yourself short. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people feel, well, look, I don't have the money. And because I don't have the money, I cannot take on this project. Mm-hmm. We're missing the fact that each and every one of us are local content. You have what these people with the money don't have. And because you have that, it means that they are more in need of you mm-hmm. than you of them.
So what would you say? I normally ask persons, a lot of persons, non-Guyanese, are of the opinion that when they come with their big fancy company, the knowledge and so on, and based on all the law is set up, you have to pair with a local, and the company, for it to benefit from the sector, they must give up 51% and only take 41%. And in cases, some of them are doing all of the work. What is your take on that?
Again, if we go back to the content, it also speaks about ensuring that we train locals mm-hmm. in the various fields. Mm-hmm. Ensure that persons have the requisite skill set. So while you're coming with your knowledge of the space that the local businesses may not have, mm-hmm. within this partnership, you're supposed to have something that says that you train persons. So the skill, we can have what is called skill transfer. Now, if you don't want to partner with a Guyanese business, then fine, that's up to you. Don't partner with a Guyanese business. But think about it. Would you prefer losing 3% in a partnership? Because it's 51-49, right? So would you prefer losing that 3% ownership to the person and make some amount of profit? Or you don't partner with a Guyanese and then you don't get nothing at all? So the choice is yours. You can make $0 out of Guyana, or you can come into the country, partner with a few local persons, give them the 51%, and you get something to add to your bank account.
Well, a very local content and partnership, I oftentimes reflect at the Center for Local Business Development, because based on what I've gathered, they would have formed a partnership with an organization who came and taught them how to set up and get their documents in order and their management style and structure. After a number of years, while they were there, they were training somebody to take over. So the contract is up, the person returned to their own country, and the local Guyanese is now able to benefit and to steer the ship.
Exactly.
So I like that kind of setup whereby I think businesses can go down that road.
Yeah, so that's where knowledge transfer came into play. Because these people came with the expertise, the skill set, the know-how, and within that partnership, it was signed in such a way that you train people to do what you're doing. So by the time you leave here, they can be able to pick up the pieces and grow with it. Before I got into the space of business, I spent a lot of years working with donor projects, USAID, UNICEF, and so forth. It's a similar model you're using in donor projects. And a lot of time we say that we don't know things and we don't know how to do things. The reality is that we are doing these things, we just don't know the fancy terminologies. So you may be doing a particular thing one way, and then somebody come and say strategic planning. You're like, what is strategic planning? Or, if you're going to build a business, you need to consider that you need to have a sustainability plan in play. And when you hear sustainability plan, you start scratching your head. But the fact of the matter is, when you were developing your business, you were studying, who's going to become the beneficiary of this business? If I should die tomorrow, what will become of my business? And you're thinking which one of your children, or if you should do a corporate entity so that it can live beyond you, and so forth. So you had the thought process, you just don't know what words to use to call it. And it's similar when we look at the oil and gas sector. Yes, there are some things we don't know, but there are other spaces where we actually have the skill set in country. They just use different terminologies to say, well, this is what it is. And then persons get confused because they don't know the words. And they say, we don't know how to do that. And when a foreign company comes and starts to operate, then it's like, oh, we have Guyanese with this skill set. And we have Guyanese who can get this done. So it's basically understanding the jargons. But also, when you're going into joint ventures, you do it in such a way where there is always some amount of skill transfer, so that the locals can benefit, and in the long run, we have more Guyanese taking up leadership in the oil and gas space.
So has Orange Light had to transform or make adjustments to its operations to be able to cater for the new changes that are emerging because of the oil and gas sector?
We wouldn't say specifically for the oil and gas sector, but most definitely we would have changed. Orange Light started as a one-man show. And I was basically doing catering, living in Georgetown, doing catering in Berbice for entities. Then I transferred to start doing trainings because I prefer to share information. And I started doing trainings. But as the entity grew, we had to change how we're operating and what we're doing. Because I am from a project base, my background is in project management, everything for me is set up like a project. So even my team that I would have pulled together and have working together is done as for a project.
Okay, interesting.
So that I don't have to, I don't know what's going on with Tom tomorrow. I just don't understand why this guy is not coming to work. But Tom knows once he shows up and get the job done, Tom will be paid for the job. So Tom is more motivated to work. So my model allows for efficiency, high productivity, and to be able to meet client demands. So in order to be able to, you first need to understand your client and what they want, and then you build your team out. So what we did in terms of changing the model is decide who we want to sell services to.
Okay.
We know that we're going to sell services to government. What's the requirement? And we put those mandates in place. We know that we want to sell service to the oil and gas sector. What is the ask? And we started to find the ways to put those services in play. Market research is key in anything you do. So every business owner should consider that. But as you continue to grow your business as well, remember, market research is not one-off. So you do your research and you adjust your model that in such a way that you can become productive, provide what your clients' needs are, and still not put the business under pressure.
I think that's a good model for SMEs to incorporate into their business, because a lot of times we start and then we think there are cases where we think we can do everything and we end up lacking in several areas. And then there's also when we try to hire lots of staff and we can't afford to pay everybody. So the ideal thing is to have persons as per project or contract or as per work. So when the work is there, you're hired, you perform this role and you get paid for this role. And at the end of the day, our business is still able to make profit and we're able to pay persons as well.
Yeah.
So I think persons should really consider going down that route and help your business to grow. So what are your thoughts? I know we are now adopting a culture of health and safety, even though it was important from all along, similar like how we have had to adjust or welcome washing our hands because of COVID and covering our mouths when we cough. We're now adjusting to health and safety, adopting it. What's your thoughts on that?
Health and safety is key, and it has always been key. I don't think a lot of things people say that we're now doing, like I said before, are things that were in practice, they were just not documented. So for example, organizational health and safety, most entity would say that you need to get XYZ in play. A lot of time the business put those things in place. However, it is on the employees to ensure that the health and safety measures that are put in place for their benefit are being used. I used to conduct, I still do it from time to time, business audits, where I would go into business and observe your operations and then share pointers for improvement with management. I would go into a sawmill, read the health and safety policy at the sawmill. I know this is something that all of the employees need to adhere to. Walk into the operation site for the sawmill, and you would be surprised to see, while we have a clearly documented policy that persons were trained on, in operation, the amount of breaches. So while we may not have a lot of health and safety inspectors, and businesses will do what they need to do to protect themselves, because at the end of the day, employers don't want to lose money unnecessarily. There needs to be a reinforcement method to ensure that the systems are being practiced. So OSHA has been taking the forefront now because we're having a whole lot more of industrial-related accidents being reported. So OSHA becomes the big thing, and everybody wants to be OSHA certified. It's similar to everybody wants to be ISO certified. But again, those standards were there. They were being practiced. It's just that you don't have the documents to show that you were doing this.
Okay. So you've been doing quite a lot of work. Have you guys received any special kind of recognition, award, certification? Let us hear.
While we have been busy getting things done, we have also been very much hidden, so to speak, in the sense that there wasn't a whole lot of marketing, so there isn't a broad cross section that you can walk into tomorrow and say, hey, there's this business Orange Light. What do you know about them? So no, we haven't received a lot of recognition for the work, and it is because purposely we have not been in the public limelight for the most part. We're now at the phase where we think that Orange Light is at a space where we want to come out to the public. And now you're going to be hearing a whole lot more about the business, about the services we provide, what we do. You're going to learn about our clients, local and international. As such, those things will follow. But as is right now, we're simply small business approved and have all those other little wins that we would have put together.
And I like it, and I note many businesses feel as though as soon as you start, you need to go out there and get all your marketing in check and on point and so on. And when all of the crowd or the rush comes to their business, they crumble because they haven't properly scaled up and take things into manageable bits that they can control. Instead, they run and they put all of their marketing and they're in the public limelight and they fail. So I love that approach. I know of other persons who are working in the shadows, so you may never hear of their business, but they're doing pretty well.
Yeah. So the idea behind it is not to build the public interest first. You build the business first. Because even some people get into business and they're not sure if they want to do business. So you build your business first. You build in-house. And when you know that your pillars are very strong and you have something that you can stand on, if you build your house, you build your foundation, you don't go build your roof and then come down to the foundation. And it should be the same for the business. Once you build out, you put those systems in place, you have the processes, you have all the strong services, all the mechanism there. That's when you work on bringing a lot of customers in-house. But if you market heavy from the onset and you don't have your stuff fixed on the inside, when the customers come running, you have issues, and then people go back with all these negative remarks about your business. So what you want to do is, every marketing is good marketing, but know how to manage those marketing.
And as you're talking about systems, I coach positive that you must have documented systems for your business. So at any given point, anybody can come into your business, follow the system and be able to do something within your organization. And a lot of times when we go to businesses, particularly small businesses, they have nothing. Some of them don't even have a basic business registration. And while some of them do, there's no documented system or procedure. What time your business opens, what time it closes. This is where the keys should go. This is the steps that you should take when you're closing. In the event of an emergency, these are the protocol and those kind of things. People don't normally have those kind of systems. So it's important for you to have them documented, and they must be able to work. And one of the things we're doing as well is as a network, is working to help small businesses develop systems to get their documents in order. So if it means helping them to register, helping them to grow, that is where we also provide support, so as to help small businesses grow. And of course, echo the sentiments for our conference that we mentioned coming up in July, to enable persons to be ready. And I find persons often complain, particularly small business owners, that their challenge is access to finance. And from my interaction, it is not access to finance, it is you don't have any systems, because if there's no clear distinction between your personal and your business income, or your finance and the business finance, if there's no systems to document where the money is coming in and where it's going, then you cannot say that your problem is access to finance. You need to fix the system, because you might very well see that money is coming into your business, but the management is the issue.
That's why they need to call Orange Light. So there's a difference between people who say they have a business and people who are running a business. A lot of times when you go in and you do things like management audits, and you check the systems that they have in place, like you rightfully says, there are none. And even for the few businesses who actually have some system in play, when you get down to the nitty gritty, you start differentiating who are doing business from who are doing business. Because a lot of people call themselves business owners, but they don't understand their numbers. They don't understand how to manage what they have. And because they don't understand these simple things, it makes it really difficult for them in the long run.
Yes.
So if you need to access finance for business growth, you need to understand your own numbers. What is it it's taking you to run your business on a daily basis? What amount you need to make on a day to call it break even? And from what dollar point you can say today that I'm making profit. And if you can't break your number down to those small numbers, then don't go looking for finance because you're going to have issues down the road. If you don't separate your personal finance from business finance, that's a conversation that you and GRA will have a fine time with.
I'm saying Jacqueline, Kumal, and Melissa, I see you guys on our live. And my next question for you, what is your take on taking loans for business? A loan for business. A lot of persons are afraid and persons boast, oh, I don't know nobody, I don't know any organization, I clear up all the debts and stuff. What's your take on taking loans?
It depends, you know. You often hear about good debts and bad debts, right? You need to know where you are as a business owner and how you're managing your finances. Because we need loan in order to grow the business. We need that cash injection. Like I just said, you first need to ensure that you have the systems in place to support it. So you can go take a loan and then you end up in issues. And you can take a loan, grow the business, pay it back, and get another one. And you grow. Because we can't do it alone. We don't have all of the resources. So loans are not bad. It's our ability to manage the finance when we get it. And I know that the bank are now taking steps to assist business owners with managing their finance.
Interesting.
Because if you were issued a loan, then you have trenches. Then you need to spend this money to achieve this. When you achieve this thing, then you come for the other set of money. And when you achieve that thing, then you come. So they don't give you it all at once so you can buy a ticket and go to the US and say, sign
I
up.
heard of a bank doing that. And I also want to point out that iPad, when they give persons loans, they also work with their clients to ensure that they're able to be successful and able to pay back the loan. They provide free training and information for their clients. So kudos to them as well.
Yeah. In addition to that, though, the Ministry of Tourism is introducing a program, which I was one of the persons who were fortunate to be part of the training just last week. They trained a number of consultants to be able to assist them. It's called the In Motion.
Okay.
And that program is designed to be able to assist small business owners to put those same systems in place to better manage their business effectively, better brand your business. Because, you know, we have a lot of people who have businesses, but they don't even have a logo. They don't have an identity. So with this small business, with the Ministry of Commerce project, you see, by their entwining bodies, with the Ministry of Commerce new project that they will be implementing, that allows for businesses to be able to have that push to brand themselves.
Happy that you would have mentioned, because my next question was going to be, what are your thoughts on the grants that are being issued? And many times when the grants are issued, there's no follow-up or system in place to ensure that the businesses are better off to be able to manage that grant effectively. Some people get challenged managing finance. So when you give me a grant and you don't look back, or you provide a little guidance to me, what a guarantee or systems is there to ensure that I put it to use?
I'm learning that the Small Business Bureau would have had some adjustments to their systems.
Interesting.
And while a lot of people don't take advantage again, they are also offering a lot of free trainings. And persons are not taking advantage of those trainings to manage your finances, grow your business, and so on. But they're also putting an additional system in play for persons who receive grants and who receive loans, where they will be able to now monitor. And monitoring is key, because if you're monitoring these businesses, then you will know who are progressing with the assistance and who are just falling off the grid you will be able to pick it up early to know what assistance they can provide to be able to keep those businesses afloat. So somebody won't collect a grant today, and then 3 months down the line, you don't hear about that business again. So I'm hearing that systems are being implemented and there's some work in progress. But again, people could just hire a business coach. That's why we're here.
So you guys do coaching as well. This is your service you're mentioning.
I said it from the onset. We offer coaching and mentoring to small businesses.
Okay. So what's the coaching package is like? Is it like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months? What?
I always encourage businesses, especially startup, to start with a 3-month package. You won't see any change within a month. And coaching can be specific and it can also be broad. So some persons get a business coach and that business coach is with them for 5, 6, 10 years. Some other people get a business coach and within 6 months of that coach, I've had enough. I think I would have grown enough and I can move on to the next thing. Right? And even as coaches, we also have coach who coach us. So it's a process where if I am pouring into you, then someone else is pouring into me. Because if I'm pouring but I'm not getting a refill from anywhere, then I get drained. So even as coaches, we have coaches as well who assist us along the way.
Okay. So how has that been going thus far?
It's an interesting process. I often say if I'm to give up my day job, the one I'll keep is as a business coach or even as a life coach, because it's one where you learn every day. It's something where you work with someone, you watch them grow from face to face. Like I also do, for sometimes, I don't want to put this on here, but on a small scale, I dedicate an amount of my time where I would do free coaching for startups. I currently have 2 particular businesses that I'm extremely proud of in Berbice.
Okay.
Where one of them, the guy has a graphic design business and he was pretty much confused. He didn't know where his money was going. He didn't have any system in play. So people just reach out to him in design graphics. You could call him at 12 in the night and he's on it. And through the coaching, he was able to put operation hours in play. He was able to come out of his bottom house and actually get a shop front, register the business, open a business account, and have a full-fledged business running. He even have about 3 staffs now.
Okay.
There's another young lady who I was working with. She was a full-time government employee, but her weekends, she would do things like cake decoration, cake making, catering. Again, with a couple months of coaching, she clarified her goals. She started doing things like classes where she get paid students come to do cake decoration. And from those paid students, she gets her employees. So you pay me to learn, and based on your performance, if you're looking for a job, we create something for you. Just last month, she would have opened a semi-restaurant. These 2 persons were in coaching for less than 2 years. And both would have seen exponential growth. My third and final person I want to tell you about is a young lady in French Guiana, Suriname. Reached out to me because she heard about some of the services we're providing, and she wanted to know how she can benefit. She had personal issues where her husband and her had some amount of challenges, and she had this business idea that she couldn't bring to life. Within 3 months, the young lady was able to acquire the places that she needed, the prior raw materials. She got into a cash crop business. And by the end of 6 months, her product were in stores selling in French Guiana. Today would be a year, 3 months since we started that coaching relationship. Her product is found in about 6 supermarkets across French Guiana.
Okay.
And that business is growing. So you have a lot of people have the idea of what they want to do and how they want to do it. But with the coaching process, it allows you to be able to move it a bit faster. So what you're going to take 6 years to do, you can get done in a year. What you're going to take 3 years to do, you can get it done in a couple of months. You yourself would have benefited from some amount of coaching that we provide, and you can say how that helped you, or if it didn't help you, whichever way, and what you benefited. So it's an experience that we allow persons to grow through, but for me, it's something that I wouldn't stop doing.
Okay. So my main question of the night, there are several persons offering training and development services, coaching services. Why should we come to Orange Light?
At Orange Light, we don't just offer a service. We ensure that what we do is personalized to your unique needs. Now, anybody can go do a sales training. Anybody can go do a telephone etiquette training. But we want to ensure that whatever training we're providing to an entity, it is unique to that entity. You would never see me use one PowerPoint presentation twice. And some people would say, you got a lot of time on your hand to waste to be creating presentations. It's not that I got the time to create presentations. It's that I want to understand first, what are my clients' issues? What are the unique challenges they're facing? So when I'm designing my program, it is designed specifically for the client, their issue, and to help them to move forward. And if we cannot, for whatever reason, deliver on our goals or projections with a client, we also provide them with 100% refund.
Interesting.
So you don't pay for a service that you don't benefit from.
Okay.
So because we have that policy in play, we ensure that once you utilize our services, your requirements are met.
Awesome. And is there any closing thoughts you'd like to share with our audience?
For the person, I would speak directly to those potential business owners who says that, there are so many challenges to get started, and you can list 500 reasons why you will not be able to start your business tomorrow. When you list 501, remember the thing that made you think about wanting to become self-employed, the thing that made you want to start your business. And let that be the motivator to break all those 500 challenges. Because if you're not going to do it for yourself, who will? Persons who are desirous of getting into the space of a business, growing something for yourself that can live beyond you so that your children and your family can benefit from. If you don't know how to do it, it's always easy to get a coach. There are some persons who do it for free, and there are some that you will pay. But that coach will help you to clarify your goals, your objectives, and get you on to moving forward. And once you take that first step, or as Steve Harvey loved to call it, once you make that leap, you jump and you build your wings on the way down.
Interesting. Jump and build your wings on the way down. And just let us know, if persons are wondering how they can find you, where can they reach out to Orange Light?
Again, the number to call would be 687-3109. Most responsive on WhatsApp.
Okay.
You go into your Google search bar and you type Orange Light BSO. Our Facebook will come up. You will have access to our website. But if you are the type who prefer that physical interaction and you want to be in person, then our office is located at Liliendal Industrial Site. There is a blue building just behind Project Dawn when you're going along the East Coast on the embankment. We're located in that blue building.
Interesting. So thank you very much for sharing, Richard, and it's a pleasure to have you here. I also want to acknowledge some of the persons who join us on YouTube, and I oftentimes forget about those persons, but I'm not going to do that this evening. I'm seeing persons like Riza, Beverly, Najuma, and other persons that are joining from DDL. It's a pleasure to have you guys on our program. I'd like to also thank you guys, everybody, for joining us on every Tuesday night so that we can contribute towards each others' growth and learn about products and services that are available not only within Guyana, but in different parts of the world. I'd like to thank you guys for making a special effort to be here. Next week, we've got a special guest who will be joining us as well, and I am super excited to have her on our program. And we've got some other interesting people lined up for the following week and the weeks to come. Persons are booking their spots left, right, and center. So remember, if you also want to be a part of our program, or you know somebody that can benefit from such information, let them tune in, let them reach out to us on 652-1959. Also, we are open for sponsorship. So persons who want to support the work that we're doing and to keep our doors open, we welcome you. We welcome your sponsorship. Reach out to any one of the pages to which you're viewing our live broadcast. Feel free to also reach out to me so that we can facilitate that and have you or your product, your services mentioned and featured on our show. It is a pleasure to be here. I am your host, Marlon Joseph, and I'm signing out for tonight. Do take care.